Thank you very much.
This is the reception area, which was used also as a recording booth. When Bobby V recorded here, he did his vocals in this room, from this room. So they have used it multi-purpose. One reason for that, especially with the Buddy Holly and the Crickets, it was difficult to separate the vocals from the instruments, as you well know, in a small place. And so they put Jerry Allison right about where you're standing with the drums in here when they did Every Day, and also Peggy Sue.
Wow.
Every Day, of course, he was slapping his legs, you know. Norman walked through and Jerry was just kind of warming up. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, just getting the rhythm." So Norman mic'd his knees.
Wow.
Slapped his legs all that. You get a lot of people critiquing the thing and saying they didn't do this or didn't give this credit. He said, "We didn't have time to decide who did this. They all contributed to it. Somebody had a good idea, they tried it, they worked it. Said we were having fun, we weren't keeping record of who got credit for this or who got that." It was happening so fast. There were 12 major hits in 15 months' time out of here. That's a pretty good bunch of hits, as you well know. What was going on back here then? Sean, you better sit where Buddy Holly sat.
No kidding, man.
One thing, what they would do when they finished the session, he'd bring them in here to listen to the playback because they wanted to know how they were going to sound on the radio. That was the big thing then, how you were going to sound out in these cars playing it on the radio. So they've been there over 50 years now, 52 years, and they've never been worked on, reconed, retuned, or anything. And one reason things held together good here because he kept it climate controlled, heating and cooling at the appropriate time, and kept it safe. But that was also good tape. The 3M tape that they used was pretty fantastic. But why the oxide is still holding together after all this playing, I can't tell you why.
And is that the original?
That's an original outtake as safety that was used on that.
Wow.
Of course, it's released, and you can. Norman did. You see his engineering skills all through this. Bose talks about air suspended speakers. He was doing that in the 50s. Those are air suspended speakers. They're not on hard surface creating any vibration coming back. Touch them, swing them there, and they're up there just like that. That was one theory, that if you had them on a solid surface, they create a vibration. It was back in the recording.
Oh, that's
He was doing that. This is the one where Jerry was in there on the drums, and up above Norman's garage next door, he has the echo chamber. It's called, it's really memory chamber, because he could get a delay, which you do now electronically. And he was going from here up there 2 beats and back, just on the drums, taking it in. That's here why you hear that. No, David here, he was here with him, and he was the first backup singing group. Well, the only backup singing group that went on the road with Buddy Holly when they went to New York and Canada. The only ones that traveled with him.
Wow, must have been pretty different traveling back then, huh?
Oh yeah,
luxury buses and.
Oh, well, we were in luxury. We had a 58, new 58 DeSoto station wagon.
And Kevin, did you know much about
people punching in?
Your dad's history of KDAV when they did Buddy and Bob all the time?
I knew a little bit about it. But could you guys get it out
I
here?
wish you guys could. Oh yeah, KDAV was
Probably 1,000 miles.
It was fringe, but it was still picked up. And
Right.
It was a great show, that Sunday afternoon show every Sunday, Buddy and Bob on the radio.
Did you hear it? Which songs did you sing on? You sang on...
We sang on Think It Over, and It's So Easy.
I went to school up there, too.
Lonesome Tears.
At the university? Augsburg?
Yeah.
There was another one, but I can't remember now which one it was.
It's So Easy, you guys overdubbed, right?
No, It's So Easy we did live.
It was
Think
live.
Over. Yeah.
You cut it live with the whole band. You just said, were you in the room with everybody cutting? How did you keep the bleed from happening?
Well, sometimes Norman would put us out here in this reception room, use it as an isolation booth. And the other times, if we were in the studio, there was a bifall drum bifold drum screen back there that he'd put us behind it and put a drop mic. Keep the instruments and everything from filtering through our mics.
So when you toured with Buddy, how did you guys travel? What kind of vehicle?
We had Norman had bought the Crickets, a new 58 DeSoto station wagon. And we had a white, painted white teardrop trailer. It had the roses in red, on the sides.
Oh, nice.
So we pulled it, and that's how we carried the instruments and our luggage and stuff like that.
So there'd be, 7 of you in that? 6?
Well, yeah, but sometimes some of us would ride the bus just to be with some of the other artists that was on the tour.
Because there'd be a bunch of other bands that.
Oh yeah. On that Fall Show of Stars tour, we had Frankie Avalon, Bobby Darin, Dio and the Belmonts, Clyde McFadder, the Coasters, Dwayne Eddy, Jimmy Clanton out of Louisiana, who had Just a Dream.
The original color was ebony. Like
I bet
all
those
the
are.
Buddy Holly hits with piano were done on this right here. It's been in here from the beginning. All the Buddy Holly hits. Here's the amp that went with David when he traveled with him to New York. That's what Buddy plugged into to do his.
This is the actual amp?
That's it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's the Fender Pro amp that went
These are
with
cool.
him. He was he was not only a singer, he was a roadie also.
This is the Fender amp that Buddy played when?
On that tour. That's what went with him.
I know the true love will be heartbeat. Why do you miss when my baby kisses me?
They didn't have an intercom, so Norman put a frequency in that radio, and they could talk to him back here while they
Well, he basically was like broadcasting on his own frequency.
They'd be back here having something to eat or drink. This is the same table they get, and Buddy usually sat right over there by that chair he's by.
That's the talk back.
Yeah.
It was, and they kept their dishes here. Vi and Norma Jean Berry was Norma's secretary and bookkeeper. They kept the dishes. The stainless steel they used when they ate out on the patio. That's all cement floor. But he brought a lot of tea from England. He liked tea, and the old original tea set. And
This is probably where J.I. and Tommy were asleep. Because Tommy said that when they did It's So Easy, they'd been asleep. Was that true? They'd been asleep back here in the back when they were doing, when Norman said, "Hey, we're going to cut at about 3 a.m. It's So Easy."
Yeah.
And they were back here asleep. They came, got him up, woke him up, and brought him in there to record.
Yeah.
Minnesota winning there, so
I didn't have
Well, most of the time,
The Minnesota Cardinals.
most of the time we'd be out at our house. We rented a house out west of Clovis here.
yeah.
So when Norman was ready for us, so he'd just call us and we'd come on down.
Yeah. But that night he called at like 3 a.m.
Oh yeah, because we were on standby. I mean, we slept during the day and stayed up all night whether we were working or not.
Yeah.
They're tremble bits.
It's no different with musicians now.
yeah, well,
Why do you miss when my baby